everyone. Happy Wednesday. I hope you've all had the opportunity to join Get Your Play Online for their summer activities. This week, the theme is Animals and the Zoo. Today, we're going to go way back in time to some prehistoric animals, the dinosaurs, and we're going to create dinosaur land that is being taken over by an erupting volcano. Have any of you ever made a volcano before? This is going to be my second time making one this summer, so I hope that you have fun making a volcano and dino land with me. The materials that we'll be using will help us create a volcano that looks like this. If you have plastic dinosaur toys, you can use them. Or if you want to print out pictures of dinosaurs, then you can use print out dinosaur pictures to create the dino land. The materials that we'll be using will be either paper towel rolls or toilet paper rolls, tape, glue, any shade of green for the landscape, plates, paintbrushes, food coloring, vinegar, measuring spoons, measuring cups, baking soda, pieces of tin foil, and I know I said plates. It's good to have, if you have one of the small dessert paper plates as well as a big one. Otherwise, just two of these larger ones because you'll be cutting one of the paper plates. And ultimately, that is what our dino land will look like. Now, let me see. I'm outside today, so what else could we possibly use for our dino land? If you were to make this outside, why don't you look around your backyard? Do you have sticks that you would want to add? I see some rocks that you could also add to it. What about some leaves? Any kind of vegetation that they may have had way back when the dinosaurs lived near volcanoes? The rocks that I have right now are really big and they're going to take up all of the paper plate. But if you have some small rocks or pebbles, then you may want to use those. All right, let's get started. Now, for those who are preschool age as well as school age, this project is perfect for you. If you need help using scissors or gluing, make sure mom and dad are with you. I have two different kinds of volcanoes that we can do. One is an easier one for some of our younger friends out there, and then I have one that's a little more complicated for some of our older friends. So this is the easier one. It's just tin foil that has been wrapped around a toilet paper roll and glued onto a paper plate. The more complex one, I painted the paper plate. I glued 3 toilet paper rolls together. Then I used the tin foil. All right, let's get started. I'd like you to please grab this small paper plate and a toilet paper roll. Now, if you are lucky enough to be old enough to use a hot glue gun, you can use a hot glue gun and then you don't have to wait for your glue to dry. If you're not old enough, but mom or dad or an older brother, sister, or babysitter or somebody who's allowed to use a hot glue gun is around, why don't you ask them to plug it in and let it warm up? Again, if you're not old enough to use the hot glue gun, ask an adult for help. Otherwise, let's just grab any old glue. And if you don't have any glue, you can always use tape. And I'll show you how to use all of them. So, we have our paper towel roll and we have our paper plate. To make it a little easier, I'm going to cut my paper plate. See? Taking my scissors. Oh, that's the other thing. Did I tell you we needed scissors? And again, if you're not allowed to use scissors without supervision, please ask an adult to help you cut. So I'm going to cut around the lip of that paper plate. If you are lucky enough to have a dessert-sized paper plate, then you don't need to cut it. And all you have to do is take your toilet paper roll and glue it right on. Right, we have our toilet paper roll. I have my glue. You're going to flip it over and you are going to glue the bottom of that toilet paper roll. And you may even want to take some glue and just put it right in the center of that paper plate. And you're going to stick it on. Now, I'm not going to fib. The glue is going to take some time to dry. So I already have one that's dry and that I can use. That's why a hot glue gun is so great, because you use it, you stick it, it's done. You may want to do this project in steps, so that way your paper towel roll or your toilet paper roll dries on your paper plate. But if you don't like to wait, then you can always use tape. I have blue tape, also known as painter's tape. You can use masking tape, scotch tape, whatever kind of tape you have. And all you have to do is just stick the tape to the paper plate and then to the toilet paper roll. Now I also have glue on here as well, so it's going to get a little messy. But you just want to take the tape, go all the way around. Doesn't matter how big or how small you are cutting your tape. You just want to make sure that the tape is sticking onto the toilet paper roll. Voila! And now, what you want to do is you want to take the paper plate with the toilet paper roll. And you can do this 2 ways. Because again, remember, if you're younger, mom and dad may not want you to use so much tape or so much glue. Ask them which one they prefer. If you're older, you may prefer to use the glue. The one thing I've never tried though are those glue dots. So for our younger friends out there that like to do a lot of these building projects and even the craft projects, some of those glue dots may be best, because all you do is you just rip a glue dot off, stick it on your project, and then you can glue something together. No mess, no fuss, so easy. So for this, I'm going to show you, again, 2 different ways to do it. We have our paper towel roll, and it's taped or glued onto our paper plate. If you want to tape it, you're just going to rip off the piece of tape, and you're going to fold it over so you made a loop. Stick it to the bottom of the small paper plate, and make a couple of them, and stick it all around. Now, how many of you out there like dinosaurs? How many of you have been to a science museum and you've seen dinosaurs? All right. Dinosaurs, I used to go and visit at the Academy of Natural Science in Philadelphia all the time when I was little. I haven't been there in many years. All right, so we have the tape. We are now going to stick that right on to our paper plate. All right, what do we have next? Okay, I'm just looking for some of my supplies that may have blown away. That wouldn't be very good now, would it? All right. Let's make sure that is stuck on there. And it is. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue. Oh wait, hold on. Back up, rewind. I did not mean to stick our paper plate on to the other paper plate. What I wanted to do was we stuck the tape on. I forgot, because I was looking for it. It was right next to me, the tin foil. We are going to take the tin foil and we are going to wrap it around our toilet paper roll. And now I have 2 sheets here that I'm using. Okay. I put 1 sheet of aluminum foil on one side, and now I'm going to put the other, and I'm just wrapping it around, and because I have that tape on, it's going to hold that tin foil down for me. And now you can puff out your volcano however you'd like. So I'm just going to leave mine look like that, because remember what the picture of the volcano looks like. All right, now we are going to, again, either glue or tape down our paper plate. I'm going to make those loops. I'm going to once again stick them on the bottom. Now I decided to do today's building project outside because it's beautiful out today. But not only did I decide to do it because it's such a beautiful day outside, I also chose to do it outside because it's going to get a little messy. And since we're using vinegar, it's also going to get a little stinky. So if you don't want to make a mess, or you're not allowed to make a mess in the kitchen, but you're allowed to go outside in the backyard, the front yard, grab your supplies. If you're not doing this as I'm doing it right now and you're going to do it later, grab your supplies and get comfortable in the grass and do it. And then you don't need to look for extra rocks or sticks or leaves or anything else for the landscape. You can just plop your volcano right in the middle of the grass and line up your dinosaurs however you want. All right, so there, we have the base of our volcano. But I want some vegetation. I want some landscape, some grass, some trees, but I'm going to keep it simple. And I'm just going to make some grass. And I do that by taking my green paint, and I'm just going to plop the green paint all around my paper plate. And I'm doing it this way because there's so little left in my container. I don't want to waste any. So I'm just going to paint all around, and I'm even going to paint the bottom part of the volcano, because remember, when you look for a volcano, or when you look at pictures of volcanoes, there's vegetation, there's landscape around the bottom. Typically in pictures that I have seen, there's the vegetation on the bottom, and then after the volcano erupts and you see all of the lava and it's dried, then it becomes black. But we're going to make this a really pretty green. Now the other thing that I have are these paint sticks. So again, if you don't want to get so messy, you can even use markers, construction paper. You don't have to paint it. If you have a green paper plate, you can use that. So you can also just use the paint stick. All right. Now, we want to let our paint dry. So I am going to put my paper plate aside, and I'm going to let it dry. And while I'm letting my paper plate dry, I'm going to find my dinosaurs. Again, if you have toys, figurines that are dinosaurs, go right ahead. If you're allowed to use them, grab them and use them to build our dino land. If you prefer not to get them messy, then let's find some pictures of dinosaurs. If you prefer that this is more of a crafty project, then what I suggest is you find a black and white photo of dinosaurs, such as I did, and print it out. I just found this online. Or look for some colored dinosaurs and print it out and then cut it. I'm also going to tell you a secret. If you happen to have any wrapping paper in your house that's dinosaurs and you're allowed to snip off some, grab that wrapping paper and then you don't have to worry about trying to find some pictures of dinosaurs because you already have it in wrapping paper and then we just cut them out. So I already cut out some dinosaurs earlier, but I need to finish cutting out my dinosaurs. So while we let our green paint dry, we're going to cut out our dinosaurs. Now some of you who are doing this project with me may want and prefer to properly place your dinosaurs. So if you know that there are dinosaurs that were flying in the air, you may want to arrange it so it looks like your dinosaurs are flying in the air. If you know that there are some that like to hang in trees and climb up trees, you may want to try to make a tree and put the dinosaur there. I'm just going to stick my dinosaurs wherever. All right. So I have my dinosaurs, and you have your choice. You can either glue them, or you can do what? That's right. You can put tape on them. So I'm going to take a dab of glue, and I'm going to put this dinosaur towards the bottom of my volcano. I'm going to put another dab of glue, and I'm going to put my dinosaur on the bottom there. And I'm going to keep doing this all around my volcano. Now, I would love to hear from all of you. Can you please tell me what your favorite dinosaur is? And if you have a picture of it or a figurine, I would love to see it. So just comment below and let me know. All right, I think I have a pterodactyl somewhere. Yeah, okay. Now, I'm going to put this one way up here to make it look like it's flying. Yeah, T-Rex. Where should T-Rex go? I'm going to put T-Rex on the other side. Okay. I have my Stegosaurus, my Brontosaurus. All right, my Stegosaurus I'm going to have look like it's eating some of the grass. Alrighty. All right, so there we go. We have our dinosaurs all around our volcano. Now it's time to have some fun. Clear off all of our supplies. I'm going to clear off all of our supplies, and I'm going to grab a tray. And I grabbed a tray so that way I can put my volcanoes on my tray. Now, I never had anybody make the hole yet for their volcano, but we're going to do that now. So what I'd like you to do is you can use just your finger, and you're just going to poke through the aluminum foil. All right. So we're just poking through the aluminum foil, just like that. Alrighty. So we have our hole. I'm also going to grab my other one that is here. Now, remember I said that I have two different ones that I was going to show you? Instead of using a small plate and putting the toilet paper roll on a small plate, cutting it out, and then gluing it on a big plate, I just glued it right to my big plate. I then took one large piece of aluminum foil and I'm wrapping it around my paper plate just like that. No fuss. And then I make my hole. So for our friends who need a little simpler project, this could be the kind of volcano that you want to make. You don't have to worry about putting dinos all over it if you don't want. You can just have the volcano. Again, that was so easy and took me 5 seconds, if that. You just glued the toilet paper roll onto a large paper plate. Take a large piece of aluminum foil and you just want to put it over, wrap it around that paper plate, shape it as a volcano, and then poke your hole. Okay, now it is time to put everything in and make it erupt. So the first thing that I'm going to have everybody do is grab the baking soda. I'm going to open up my box of baking soda. Okay. I'm going to grab my measuring cup. It's a 1/4 cup that I'm going to use. We fill in all of the measuring cups. There's usually a line that will show you exactly where the measurement is that you need. I'm going to fill my 1/4 cup measuring cup of baking soda all the way up to the top. Because it's a little windy out, I'm actually going to use a spoon to help me put it right into my measuring cup, so that way it doesn't fly away, blow in my face, or go anywhere where I don't want the baking soda to go. Okay. Now it's a little tricky sometimes to pour the baking soda into the toilet paper tube, so again, if you want to spoon it in, you can. Otherwise, you can just dump it right in. Okay, I'm going to do it again and put some in my other toilet paper roll. So that is a 1/4 cup of baking soda. And because some of the baking soda has fallen out of my cup, I'm just going to pour a little extra in for good measure. And I'm going to put that down. Next, I'm going to grab my food coloring. Now in pictures of volcanoes, what colors are the lava? Do you see the lava? Red, yellow, orange, any colors that represent something being hot. So I have very little of the yellow, but I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of the yellow in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I'm pouring this food dye right on top of the baking soda. I'm going to take my red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to do 10 of that color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Alrighty. Now, I have my vinegar. And remember, this is going to be a little stinky. I'm going to do one volcano, and then I'm going to do the other volcano. Alrighty. So I have a tablespoon of vinegar that I'm going to pour into another measuring cup. I'm going to do another tablespoon, so that's 2 tablespoons of vinegar that I'm going to pour right into my volcano. Whoa! Did you see that? All right, 1, 2, I'm going to do 3 and 4 in the next one because I want to really try to see this bubble over. Alrighty, so what did we just learn? That the 2 tablespoons didn't bubble over as much, but the 4 tablespoons of vinegar did bubble over. All right, we are going to add a little more baking soda. So I'm just adding a tablespoon to each, and I'm going to do that again. This time I'm going to put 4 tablespoons of vinegar in each of them. Oh my, look at that. Oop. I'm going to add that vinegar again into my measuring cup. Was that 4? I lost count. Now, you know what I'm not seeing a lot of is the food color. So let's put in a little more food coloring. And I have a fork. Going to mix up the food coloring with my baking soda. So maybe you want to try that, mixing up the food coloring in your baking soda before you add the vinegar. And let's try one more time. Ah, there we go. So the trick was to mix up our food coloring into our baking soda. And we'll do the other one more time. And there you go. We just made our erupting volcanoes all over Dino Land. The materials that we used again were either toilet paper roll or paper towel roll empty, paper plates, glue or tape, scissors, baking soda, vinegar, food coloring. Also used measuring cups and measuring spoons. The vinegar I first put into a container, didn't pour it straight from the bottle. A spoon to mix up the baking soda with the food dye, because remember, that worked better. And a tray to kind of collect all of it. Also, if you have the pictures of the dinosaurs or figurines that you want to use, you can use either one to make your Dino Land. Thank you so much for joining Get Your Play Online. Let's Build. My name is Amanda. I had a wonderful time making Dino Land erupting volcanoes. I look forward to hanging out with all of you again soon. Have yourselves a wonderful Wednesday, and don't forget to join us for the rest of our summer activities, themed, zoo, and animals. Take care and have a wonderful afternoon. Bye.